Today is March 25th, 2025. My name is Bobby Goodman, and I am interviewing Billy Gutow about his days at the Columbian Club. Welcome, Billy.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yes.
Let me jump right in. Billy, why don't you tell us when you became a member of the Columbian Club and for how long?
Well, I joined in 1966. It was after I'd gotten out of law school. And I joined because I had a lot of friends that were members there. Not a great deal, but enough to get me to go and join because I had to do something. I was, at that time, working with my dad, for my dad, at the scrap business. We had a scrap yard. And then, so I joined the club. I'd already been, as I said, I graduated law school and went and joined it. I think it cost me a grand total of $500 to join, and it was $12.50 was the dues, monthly dues, which I could afford at that. Yes, I didn't have a problem. Wasn't married, didn't get married till 68. So, anyways, that was what we did, what I did, and I really didn't play golf. I really didn't play golf for, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years. I played a lot of tennis, and then once I got married, I played tennis, and then I would meet my wife at the pool. As we had kids, two children, she loved it. She thought it was the best. We didn't have a swimming pool, and she thought this was the best thing. So if I went and played tennis in the morning, then I would meet her after at the pool, and we would eat lunch out there. So. Yes.
So 66.
Yes.
And you were a member of the entire, how many years, do you think?
Oh, the whole time.
The whole
66 to 20 till now.
Right. So rumors you're still a member out there in the Married Doe, right?
I'm still a member of the Married
Wow.
Doe. I was a member of the Honors. I was on the board of directors twice. Let me say this about that club. I don't know if anybody thinks the way I think. When I would cross over the railroad track, my life was just different. The railroad track said from this point forward, everybody is the same. Whether you play golf, or whether you swim, or whether you play tennis, whatever, go to dinners, whatever it was, this was a special place for my family, including my wife and of course the children. It was a great place for her to take them as they were growing up. So it was a big part of my life. My parents were not members, and although I did play with your father once in a while, he always wanted to take a little advantage, but I always said no. So anyway, but he was a great guy. I just enjoyed being around him, and I knew it was coming. But like, he would want to play from the up tees. We always had a bet. He wanted to have a bet, and I would play from the other tees. Anyways, I'll just tell you how much I enjoyed your father, and how much I've enjoyed being out there.
So when you joined in 1966, Billy, and you didn't play golf. First of all, do you believe or do you think that was there a sense of anti-Semitism at that time that would make you want to join the club, or could you have joined other clubs, or at that time maybe not?
I don't know. I guess I could have always joined Prestonwood, but that's not where I joined. Matter of fact, my dad was a member of Prestonwood, and he played golf out there. I didn't find but I knew there was, and everybody, whether I'd be Jewish or not, you'd certainly know that there was anti-Semitism. Right. But there wasn't the story, Donnie Zale, I don't know if you were meeting with him, but he said that there was a bunch of guys from the Dallas Country Club that wanted him to join. And he said only on one condition would I think about joining, and that is if the Columbian Club would allow Gentiles to join. And he went to the people at the Columbian Club, and they said no. And that was the end of his joining the Dallas Country Club.
So what was the application? Your dad was not a member of the club, you said. So do you recall what the application process was like back in that day, or in the mid-60s?
I don't. I probably had to have a couple of people sign for me, maybe I had Morris Zelazny, maybe I had Bill Fogel, I don't know, but I presume we had to have someone. I was also, at one time, the chairman of the membership, so I pretty well know that. I'll tell you one story about it. I won't mention a name, but the story is that this guy who was a member and was on the membership committee, older than I, and was Jewish. And so the question came about, this was in the 80s, was it time to bring a Gentile into the club? And this guy, whose son-in-law was not Jewish, and he said, absolutely not. He said, I don't want my son-in-law a member here, and I don't want to join his club. And if he would like to come out here, I'd love to bring him, and if I go out, I'd love to go. So you can see that there was a lot of this stuff. So it's not just anti-Semitism from Christians, it's just as bad sometimes from Jewish people that didn't want it. And then we finally, I think the first member that was not Jewish was Denny Levin's husband. And he joined, and that was, but that was the first one because the woman could always be a member, okay? A woman could be a member as an associate membership, and then her husband joined, but then the first real member, the first thing was like in the early 90s, I think it was maybe a little later, there was 3 guys, Ronnie Steinhardt and Donnie Zale, and I think Rabbi Roseman. They went to the board and said, we think it's time. And they went and said, you know, the times have changed. And the other problem with that was they had a young man, because his family was from Corpus, and he wanted to join, but he didn't know anyone. And I've always thought that it was that you wanted to be a member of a club where you had friends. Like you say, your guys are out at Prestonwood, and that's where you play. And that's where I play when I played at the Columbian Club, because I knew people out there. So this guy came, he's a young man, and it didn't work out because he never made any real friends. He wasn't really from Dallas. I think he was working somewhere else. But anyways, he got to be a member, and that sort of broke all of the situation where you didn't have to be Jewish.
And when you joined, you were how old again? You were just out of law school.
I was out of law school. So 66, I was 25.
So what did that membership look like back then? Age? Were they mainly an older group, or were they a lot of your own age group people? What did that, or there was a little bit of everything?
There was a little bit of everything. I mean, the 60s is when it started to really get, become, I think it really became a country club in 1952, and there was like a 9-hole golf course. Well, but there were a lot of friends of mine, Gary Zelazny and Charles, their parents were members. Dickie Fogel's parents were members. And so Charles, matter of fact, I was out to dinner with Charles. Charles is on your list, I think.
Next week.
So Charles and I were talking a little bit, and he said, he said, what the questions were, and one of them is, of course, when did you join? And Charles said, this was Saturday night, and I said, well, I joined 66, and he said, I joined 67. I said, but Charles, you were a member. He said, no, I really wasn't. My parents were members, and when I really joined was 60, I think it was 67, he said, the year after or something.
And then in your, as you were a member, a long-time member, share with us a little bit about some of the involvement. You mentioned some of the committees and things that you were involved with. You were on, what were some of the, ever on the board, I'm sure?
Yeah, I was twice on the board, and I was I was the head of the membership committee. I was the head of the golf committee. Mm-hmm. I was ahead of throwing the member guest tournaments a couple of times. I made my wife was very, I don't know if you ever met this friend of mine, Don Fitch, who was a member out there. He was older. He was he was my boss at Zale Corporation. And when he came, he always belonged to the Waxahachie Country Club. And he lived on Amherst. And he wanted the first place he joined, when he joined, was actually, I think he joined out at Las Colinas. Then when it came to a real club, I hate to say it that way, he joined the one on Alpha, Northwood. And he joined Northwood, and then he really didn't like it, and he never really wanted to be a member of the Columbian Club, although there were a lot of people he knew, but he worked for Zale Corporation, and he felt like they may not be happy that he was out there, which was bullshit. They were very happy he came out there, and he was a member for a long time, and then he hurt his back, and he couldn't play anymore. But he and I won the member guest.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So obviously you became a golfer, but it sounds like you had a lot of other activities that you and your family used for the club.
We did, yeah.
Swimming and the...
We didn't miss Father's Day. We didn't miss Mother's Day. We didn't miss New Year's Eve. We didn't miss Valentine's Day. We went to the club all the time, and it was really part of our life, and it became more and more part of our life as more and more people joined. Dickie Fogel moved back to Dallas. He joined, and then he quit. I guess you've already talked to him. He quit because his wife, they had, you know, you had a limited amount of money, and he had kids going to St. Mark's, and and so this was too. Then he rejoined,
And tell me a little bit about, you didn't miss this event, so tell me a little bit about the dining. I hear all about the dining.
The dining was great. You couldn't, that's what the club really offered. Great food.
Right.
Matter of fact, if you went around Dallas, and you may have done that too, where all your friends will say, oh, there's nothing like going to the Columbian Club and having a meal. They just, the cooks were good. They saw to it that it was great. If you were there for lobster dinner, you couldn't have asked for a better situation. You couldn't ask for anything better. The problem with the Columbian Club is that we had more restaurants in the city. People started going to them, and then the club lost its, and then some people didn't want to throw parties at the club because it wasn't big enough. I mean, I could tell you the name of these people here. They would love to have done that. They love the club, but they couldn't throw a party. Anyways,
they couldn't handle the numbers.
They couldn't handle the numbers.
Yeah.
It wasn't big enough.
Right.
The building wasn't, we had that, we had two places. We didn't have this big thing that we have now, because that was like a locker room at that time. So now you had, actually it was the women's locker room at that time where you go into now. It was just impossible. So the people had to go, they started going to downtown, they went to hotels, and even one of my weddings was at a hotel, because we also couldn't put it.
Wow. So tell me, you alluded to it, but about the railroad tracks. But tell me, Billy, of the importance of the club to you, and then also to your family.
I don't think there was, Bobby. I don't think there was that type of a thought. The importance. The importance was it was a place that I enjoyed being in. I think it's a place where my family enjoyed being. I know they did. I mean, Craig came back from New York, and he wanted to join the club. He'd gotten out of school at NYU. And I said, I tell you what I'll do. I'll pay for your initiation, but you're going to have to pay for your dues. And he came back to me a couple months later, and he said, Dad, I really can't afford the dues right now. I said, fine. Come back when you feel like you want to. And then he came back, and I paid the initiation, and he could pay his dues. And that was important. That's where he wanted to play, and that's where his friends were.
It was important to your family.
To the family,
life.
to have a place out there to go play. And then Craig worked at his golf. He really has worked hard on his golf forever.
That's awesome.
So I'm really happy for him.
So as a member, did you, obviously you've mentioned quite a few of them, but you've made a lot of friends from the club. Did you have other family members that were members of the club, or was it just your immediate family?
It was really just nobody else, just my immediate family.
So these friends
wait a minute, then I think the Yannicks, Bobby and Judy were members for a while. He played tennis.
Got it.
But I know you're not going there, but I mean, it didn't make any difference, but that's.
So how about your friends that you've mentioned? Still longtime friends? Do you still keep up with these friends from your Columbian Club days?
Almost every week. The same ones. Martin Schaefer, he and Don both joined later than I did. But Martin and I are very close. We've traveled together. His wives, I've been married twice. And but all of my guys, the guys that you mentioned, something you know about our Thursday group that we have.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the Thursday group are guys that are members, or for some reason, Albert Huddleston has allowed all of us that were 44 birthdays and before, a certain amount of money we paid to get in, and our dues have never been increased. Well, the dues at the club for my son have been increased 3 times. And so it's a different situation there, and he's been absolutely wonderful to us. He let Lester Melnick, who paid no dues. He let Donnie Zale, no dues. Gene Friedman, no dues, and nothing. They were in their, going into their 90s. And then Dickie Fogel has big medical problems, and he couldn't play golf anymore, and he had nerve damage, and he sent a resignation in, and Albert came out to him, he saw him like that weekend and said, "I'm not letting you quit.
Very nice.
I know what nerve damage is." So, and Dickie's never been able to play golf. He's only gone to, I don't know how many doctors and how many times he's gone to try to see if he could do something.
And so y'all meet on a weekly basis, monthly basis?
Harold Kay and
That's so nice.
And Jerry Grubstein and Martin Schaefer. I don't know if you know David Glickman. He joined about 2000. Remember, we're going out to dinner with them tonight and then to the Tate series. He and his committed friend, I don't know how to, he never married. David's about 87 now. So that's
so nice.
So we have a group that goes out there and we, though Jerry and Harold smoke a cigar, and sometimes I really haven't been drinking as much as I used to have a drink when I was out there earlier, but now it doesn't come up as much. So anyways, that's the group.
So your family as well were members. Grew up playing golf, tennis, swimming. I'm sure.
You mean my kids?
Your kids.
Yeah. We only had Craig. My daughter didn't play. She didn't play golf or anything. She just swam with.
Well, she used the facility.
She used it, right. But she didn't. Yeah.
Right. So, share. You have a few fun little memories about the club that you would like to share that, or maybe that you can share.
No, I can't. I can't even think of those memories. They probably have lost. I probably lost them a long time ago.
So let me ask you, Billy, why do you think the Columbian Club closed?
There weren't enough golfers. It became a golf club, and once it became a golf club, because I played golf there after he bought it. That was it. I mean, there just wasn't enough. We only had even for years, even when we had 390 members, we only had 125, 130 golfers. And the aggravating part for the others was that they had to pay for the golf, because the most expensive thing is the golf course. And I think it had to do with it just couldn't make it. I know one time Carol wanted the Jewish Community Center to be a part of the club. That wasn't going to work, because that's just not the way it worked out there. She didn't understand it, but that's another story. Anyways, so that's really what happened, and that's why I think a lot of the people just quit. Some people went to other clubs to play. They thought the course was too difficult. I understand it's difficult.
You're talking about the new Merido.
The new Merido, he really changed it.
Yeah.
But Bobby, I always thought golf was not a situation of being hard or easy. If I was going to play easy, you might as well go to a pitch and putt. But I always felt that it was something that when you went out to the course, yes, it's difficult. yes, you can play. As Albert Huddleston told Donnie Zale one time, he said, when he first got and started doing it, he said, Donnie, just take your ball and tee it up wherever you want to. Just make the course your course. Don't make it into such a situation that it's difficult. And that was, you know, a good idea. But most of the golfers out there really are good golfers.
Right.
You don't get people out there anymore like we did to go and eat or to have drinks. Or you have people out there that just enjoy golf.
Serious golf.
Yeah.
Do you think a Columbian club could survive today if it in this day and age? Do you think would that club work today? The club you grew up, that you joined back in '66. Do you think that could exist today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just don't think that that's what's on people's minds now, that they do that. People don't have the same, I don't know, pleasures. You know, the older guys, including your dad, and Mickey Rubin, they were the nicest guys in the world. They were nice to us. They were nice to the younger. They were pleasures. I cannot tell you. I don't know if you have those kind of people anymore that feel like that's part of a family.
Interesting.
So.
Have you ever heard of the new Columbian Club?
Yes, I have.
Have you been there?
No.
No.
Donnie's been there a couple of times.
So.
Have you been there?
I haven't been there.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of it. So before I ask my last question,
Yes.
Is there anything that I haven't asked that that you'd like to speak about, or anything that I've missed?
No, I think we talked about the food. We talked about the club. I could get into some negatives, and everybody loved him. Was our general manager back in the '60s. And he ate better than anyone else. He would have his friends out for lobster dinner 3 times a week, because we had lobster dinner 3 times, like Thursday and Saturday and maybe Friday night, yeah. And he always had friends out there. So anyways, he was not my favorite person, but he ran a really strict club. It was a nice place, and I think he kept it nice in what he did. He was too much of a. I would call him like a little Hitler, but I decided not to do that. It just was. It was
Tight
crazy.
ship.
Huh?
Tight ship he ran.
Yes, he ran a tight ship, and he was the boss. You weren't the boss as a club member, right?
It's an interesting concept. So here's my final question. If I mention the word Columbian Club, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
How much I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Billy, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
That was awesome. Thanks for sharing your memories with us.
Well, thank you for having me.